Good morning, everyone. It's Alicia Hurt here, your servant leader, and I am here to talk about infertility. Let's talk about infertility, y'all. Let's talk about infertility today. So we're talking about it from our recent book called A Heart That Knows Loss. And if you would like a copy, you can find it on Amazon. And if you're listening to this webinar, I would love to give you a free PDF copy of A Heart That Knows Loss for listening in. So you can comment below ebook and I will send it to you. I can DM you to get your email address and send it right over to you. Again, it is from our book called A Heart That Knows Loss, Finding Healing and Purpose After Child Loss. As you navigate infertility, unfortunately, this is common. You go through loss. I know on my journey went through 3 rounds of in vitro and they were unsuccessful. However, thank God for Jesus, he was able to intervene and say, it is time, and now we have 4 children. My name again is Alicia Hurt. I am the executive director here at the Women's Wellness Center in Bainbridge, Georgia for I See My Baby, a nonprofit 501c3. There is a certain loneliness that comes with losing a child, whether through miscarriage, stillborn, or heartbreaking loss. And it is a grief that is often unseen by the world, but felt deeply in every breath, every quiet moment, and every unspoken dream of what could have been. And when we think about what could have been, how my baby would look, how we would react, how we would adjust, like mom, literally, and dad go through this thought process as they grieve. And I know this because I've been there. I've been there 4 times. I carried life within me 4 times. And we went through loss. However, I was then able to say, you know what? I got to trust in God and release. And when I released, God was able to show up and we were able to navigate the process naturally, thank God. But I do believe the IVF, it really did help jumpstart the process. But God's divine and timing and intervention, we were then able to actually birth our babies and now have our 4 children. But we did have to go through miscarriage and loss in order to come out on a brighter side. And before I forget, I want to share the link and so that you have it. And again, if you are watching this webinar, we're offering you a free copy of our ebook, today. And I will make this public. There we go. All righty. So we're going to talk through grief from miscarriage, stillbirth, or infant loss because it is often unacknowledged. And a lot of times women tend to just go back into the workforce. They tend to just go back to life. However, they suffer in silence. So what does that look like? And how can you support women in that? How can you support a man in that? Many parents mourn privately due to the lack of social understanding. They may say, hey, the baby wasn't even that big yet, or, it didn't have a heartbeat or what have you. But when you have conceived, when you know that you have a baby in your belly, it's a baby is a baby. And so having empathy, having understanding, it is much needed to normalize the understanding of parents mourning, no matter what stage of pregnancy they were in, or if they had to deliver that baby, stillbirth. and hold that baby in their arms. Like the grieving process is just that. They're going to go through it. There's emotional pain. It is definitely real. Again, regardless of how early the loss occurred. Also, cultural silence that often deepens the loneliness of grief, because you just never know in different cultures what that is a sign of. If you can't have a baby in some cultures, it's like, okay, then you're less than. You're less than a man. You're less than a woman, right? So that's a lot of pressure. And understanding that 1 in 4 women will experience pregnancy or infant loss. Studies show that grief from miscarriage can be just as intense as grief after losing a close family member. So you can equate the two. If you equate the two, that will help you understand how you have to be aware of what you say and how you deal with a grieving mom or dad. If you think of, okay, losing a parent, losing a loved one, wow, they really feel like that. Yes, they do. There is a lack of public mourning rituals that make it harder for people to find closure or support. So when you lose a loved one, you all have a funeral. You all, go through a process. Most times when you go through pregnancy loss or infant loss, there's not, unless the baby was of a size that you didn't have a funeral for it. But we didn't go through any ritual when I went through my miscarriages. Even the last one before my son was born, we didn't go through a ritual. Maybe that would have helped in the mourning and grieving process. So in chapter 1 of this book, it breaks down grieving in your own time. And it helps you understand that there's no right time, there's no schedule, there's no clock, there's no sense of saying, all right, it's been 30 days, you're done. No, grief does not have a schedule. You may wake up one morning feeling a sense of peace, only to become overwhelmed by waves of sorrow in the next. And you may have been fine. You're like, I'm going great. I am going through this grieving process. I'm feeling good. And then one morning you're like, wow, I feel like day one again. It's okay. It is okay. The loss of a child is not something that you get over. It is something that you learn to live with. You carry the love and you have remembrance in a way that feels right for you. And you also understand your own grief. Your own grief. Again, like I said before, apply it to losing a loved one, because it is a loved one, a cherished loved one. Every woman's experience of loss is different. Some may feel immediate sorrow, while others experience numbness. So before the grief, you're just numb. You don't know what you feel. But then when that grief starts to settle in, hey, you may start to cry every day. You may feel other struggles to express your emotions outwardly. Whatever your process looks like, just know that it is valid and it's your process. One of the hardest things after loss is feeling like you should be further along in the healing process than you are. You may hear, well, meaningful but hurtful phrases like everything happens for a reason, or at least you can try again. That's hurtful. So I need for you all to change the way that you respond. And, sometimes maybe you don't say nothing. You're just there for the person. That's better than saying something that may be received hurtful, like everything happens. So you're saying that no. So maybe just don't say anything. Just be there. Just be there for the individual, because these words often, they have good intentions behind them, but then they don't acknowledge the deep pain that you're going through. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be okay. So as you can see in this picture, embracing one another, just being there for the individual and giving yourself permission to grieve. So one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is permission. Like, Alicia, it is okay to cry. Alicia, it is okay to be sad. Giving permission to feel, to remember, to break down, and then to rebuild. As I often say, yes, sit in your emotion for a little bit, but don't stay there. Then you got to move past it, right? And it may be starting over every single day, but you got to move past it. You can't stay there long, because then it starts to turn into some real depression, and it's hard to get out of it. Grief requires space and grace. And you may find that some days, like I said, you need to be alone with your thoughts, while others you crave the presence of a trusted friend, a loved one who can simply sit with you. No words, just sit. Grief can feel like a heavy fog sometimes. You may feel cloudy in your thoughts. It may make you even get upset about the simplest things. It may make you feel like the simplest things are just impossible to do or to obtain. And it's okay to ask for help during these moments. Seeking support, whether from a counselor, a support group, a trusted friend. Again, we provide those coaching services as well. We can help you through it. There are grief doulas that we can refer you to that can help you through that loss. And just remember that it is not a sign of weakness to ask for help. It is a brave acknowledgement that you don't have to walk this path alone. And I want you to understand that you do need to take small steps forward. You do need to move forward, but they don't have to be leaps and bounds, just small steps to get you from day to day. Because we know that grief doesn't disappear, but it changes. It changes shape over time. One day, the weight will feel lighter. Until then, take small steps forward. One moment, one breath at a time. One moment, one breath at a time. Whether it's stepping outside to feel the sun on your face, maybe taking a few minutes to breathe deeply, or even writing a letter to a child you lost. These small acts can begin to create space for healing. Remember, there is no finish line in grief. There is only learning to live again, and with love and memory as your companions. I know for me, I stayed in the bed crying. I didn't want to deal with anyone. I ate from my bed. When it was time to get up and go to work, I put my stuff on, and I just remember just going through the motions. I was still in ministry, ministering to youth. I was doing everything, but I was just going through the motions. And outwardly, everyone would think that everything was okay, but inwardly, I was screaming, like, I don't feel good. I feel less than a woman. I can't believe this happened to me. What did I do wrong, right? What do I need to do right? And you carrying this around. And so I always say, give people grace, because you don't know what they're dealing with. You don't know what they're battling with. And that is literally a part of the reason why we've established I See My Baby, because I don't want anyone to feel like they have to carry the load by themselves, that they can't be transparent and vulnerable. They can't seek refuge and have a sacred space to heal. So please give grace, because you just never know what someone is going through. You just never know. And if you hit a button, you may get some things that you're like, where'd that come from? Not knowing that they're truly going through a hardship, that they're grieving. Even taking it a step further, as I said in the beginning, apply this to losing a loved one. Apply it. Think about someone that you've lost in your family, and it just takes time. And after time, you go back to that remembrance of them. You may start to cry, shed a tear. I know for me, most recently, it's my mother. She's been weighing heavily on me. And I'm like, I've gone through my grieving process. You know, it's been since 2023, but last week, it felt like day one all over again. That's the process. So think of a mother that has had a miscarriage, a mom that has to deliver a stillborn baby. And it's been maybe 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and she's still going through grief, and it looks different. And she's taking those small steps forward. But then guess what? There may be a day that she feels like day one all over again, because in your mind, you start to replay when I envisioned holding that baby, when I was in that hospital and they would putting that IV in me, when that doctor came in that room and said, ma'am, there's no heartbeat, right? You replay those things. And so you have to go through a process. And what does that look like? All right, today I'm sad, I'm crying, I'm grieving, but guess what's going to happen? The next day I'm going to get up, I'm going to take a breath, I'm going to go outside, get some sunshine on my face. I'm going to write a letter to my child, right? I may just go out with my loved one, watch a movie, do something that like maybe some self-care. Hey, stop by the Women's Wellness Center, get a yoni steam, just something that will help you really process and move forward in your grieving journey. And this is it for today. I want you guys to tune in next session so we can go deeper into this book. It's a really good book. And if you are someone that is going through the process of grieving, this is for you. If you are someone that is supporting another person that is going through the grieving process, this book is for you, both for men and for women, because we all go through grief differently, but it is here to support you. Again, if you are watching this and you are interested in learning more, reading more, please comment below ebook and I will send you a free copy. If you want it in your hand and you got to see it, touch it, feel it, just use our Amazon link and you can obtain a copy there. Again, my name is Alicia Hurt. I'm here at the Women's Wellness Center. I can be reached at 229-939-3240. You can also email me at info@icmybaby.org. And we have more information on our website, a plethora of information at icmybaby.org. You guys have a good day and I will talk to you soon.